So, have you seen what's happening with the stock market? It's like totally plummeting.
Yeah, it's pretty wild actually. The Sensex took a huge dive over 1,200 points, which is a massive drop.
Right. And it's all because of this new virus, the human metapneumovirus or HMPV, right?
Exactly. Apparently, there are a few confirmed cases in India, and that's spooked the investors. It's like they're all running for the hills. But
So, it's a fear based reaction. I mean, are people really that concerned about this virus?
Well, I guess it's a mix of things. The market was already a little jittery, with the third quarter earnings coming up and some global economic issues.
Okay, so not just the virus, then what other factors are at play here?
So there's also a strong dollar, which is impacting emerging market currencies, including the Indian rupee. It's like a double whammy.
And what about those foreign institutional investor outflows? I heard those are contributing as well. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Foreign institutional investors have been pulling money out, which adds even more pressure. It's like a snowball effect.
Okay, so a lot of pieces coming together to make this happen. I'm curious, which sectors took the biggest hit?
Well, metals, public sector undertaking, banks, and real estate are among the worst affected. Basically, the sectors that are generally seen as a bit more risky.
Makes sense. So the riskier areas got hit the hardest. What about the bigger, more stable companies? How did they do?
Even big names like HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries weren't spared. They contributed to the overall drag on the Sensex. I mean, it was across the board.
That's actually pretty surprising. Even the heavyweights got hit. So it wasn't a very good day for the stock market overall, it sounds like.
Definitely not. It seems like investor wealth took a huge hit. I think it was like 8 lakh crore, which is a lot of money just gone.
Wow, that's a huge amount. I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around how a few virus cases can cause such a reaction.
Well, it's because the news about HMPV in India caught everyone off guard, especially with the ongoing concerns about respiratory viruses globally. It's like a spark in a dry forest.
A spark in a dry forest. That's a great analogy. I guess fear of the unknown can really drive a panic like this. Mhm.
Absolutely. Plus, the market hates uncertainty. So when new issues like this come up, people tend to sell first and ask questions later, right?
Right. Sell first and ask questions later. So it's basically a knee jerk reaction, as one analyst said.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that HMPV is already in circulation globally. And these initial cases in India were found during routine surveillance.
Okay, that's good to know that it's not completely out of the blue. The health ministry seems to be monitoring it. So that's somewhat reassuring, right?
Yeah, they've emphasized that there hasn't been an unusual surge in respiratory illnesses. It's more about managing the situation effectively now, I guess.
So, what do you think? Will this market drop continue or is this a temporary thing?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but the market will likely be influenced by third quarter earnings and external factors like the dollar and US bond yields.
So it is really about those factors and not necessarily just this virus. Well, so the market isn't going to crash just because of HMPV.
Yeah, the HMPV news is definitely a trigger, but it's like it exposed the cracks that were already there in the market.
Right. It's like it was a catalyst, I guess, and not the root cause, really. That's helpful to understand.
And it's important for investors to not panic and make decisions based on fear. It's like trying to drive a car while looking in the rearview mirror.
I guess looking at the bigger picture is key. Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, this market drop is a combination of virus fears, some existing economic jitters, and strong dollar, right?
Precisely. It's a cocktail of factors, really. It's not just one thing, that's for sure.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now and like how it all ties together. So, what's the takeaway here? Should people be worried or is this just a market correction?
It's a reminder that markets can be volatile and it's important to stay informed and not react impulsively to the news cycle, but also to have a long-term investment strategy, right? So
A good reminder for us all, I think. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens next week, right?
absolutely, it'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to the third quarter earnings and any developments regarding the virus, that's for sure.
Well, okay. So that's a lot to think about. And that helped me understand what happened with the market today. Thanks for explaining all that.
Anytime. I mean, it's important to try and make sense of these market swings and really understand the underlying causes.
So, with all these factors at play, do you think the market will recover soon or will we see more dips? in the coming weeks? That's the big question, I guess.
Well, that's what everyone wants to know, right? And honestly, it's tough to predict, but it will definitely depend on a few things and how they play out in the next few weeks.